Hello guys and welcome back to a new week. Yes, the trend is still pushing all the way up on gold and we are still getting marvelous trades from this type of trends, right? As you can see, I'm still in buys and I'm still in profits. But this is not really what I want us to talk about. Today, I'll actually be analyzing the 1 hour time frame. I've actually gotten tired of using the 4 hour time frame because it is quite huge and there's not really a lot going on the 4 hour time frame. I just want something different, something small to actually see how price is pushing all the way up. Moreover, we're having a couple of rejections, so maybe we might have a retracement. So being on a smaller time frame like a 1 hour time frame will be a good thing because if price is going to reject into a downward movement, you actually know on this time frame, right? So what do we do if we are actually going to analyze everything? We are going to go through only 4 steps: identifying the trend, market structure, confluences. So first things first, identify the trend. Obviously, we already know we are in an uptrend, but still, this is a 1 hour time frame, so we have to actually look at it and analyze to understand, right? It's that simple. So yes, we can see price creating higher highs, but in identifying the trend, you can obviously use things like EMA. I personally use trend line. If I use a trend line, it makes things extremely easy, right? So I look for a point that the trend has actually tested a couple of times and I just pick it from there. So when you look closely, I think from this zone right here, you can see price testing around this level, testing that same trend right here. We can see a breakout, but it did not necessarily do anything and price continue pushing all the way up again. So that right there is a good what trend line. As always, if you are going to mark a trend line, it should be including all those wicks. Every single wick on the trend should have actually been marked, right? This is how it should have been, so that you'll not be actually worried if price is inside that level, because it's not a line, it's a zone. Now after marking the trend line, we know yes, price is continuing that upward movement, and there's a reason why price is doing that, because even if price comes back, there's a place it will hit and continue pushing all the way up. Now the next thing is market structure movement. Market changes from upward movement to downward movement very fast. So when you actually analyze your levels, you understand that yeah, this is what is happening, this is what is happening, and that is what is happening. So end up having a good understanding about the trend and you end up executing good trades. So because this is where we are starting from our trend, we don't really necessarily have to analyze this whole level. No, because we are looking at the trend that is currently ranging. This is a ranging trend and it's hitting this trend line. Now, obviously, in doing this trend line, you could also try your best and mark out the highest trend lines, which is this zone as well. But when you mark this level, you also understand that we are in this zone right here, or this tunnel right here, and price is shooting all the way up. So when you know this, it sometimes helps you to put your key levels or your TP levels. Meaning, with knowing this, you know that when price comes all the way back up and hit the zone right here, there's a high chance we'll have a rejection, right? So this normally helps a lot. But yes, this is just what you need to do. With this, we know we are in a tunnel. At the same time, we are pushing all the way up. We are not coming back down, right? So since we are actually pushing all the way up, we need higher highs and what? Higher lows. This is very simple to actually identify. All you need to do is trail the trend. In trailing the trend, I've already taught you guys how to do this. You just start from the low, high, low, high, low. You can see the high over there, low right here, a consolidation, series of consolidation, the high being created just around this zone right here, and our next low. So where are we going to? Is price actually going all the way up, or are we not going all the way up? So this is what we are currently having right now. Look at this. You can see what is happening, right? Price is not really giving us anything complicated. It's just an upward movement. Look at it, but in a ranging kind of style, right? So when you trail the trend and finish, the only thing you need to do is just mark the levels that you've actually trailed. So here we have our BOS right there. As you can see, price came all the way through it with this candle right here. So you can actually choose to mark it, right? But because it's going to take time, I'm just going to go ahead and do it very fast. All right, so I'm done with every single thing, and this is what we are having. Now, obviously, you can change this to something that is quite not that complicated so that you can be able to actually see the normal trend itself, right? You can see that we have our BOS right there, and the next BOS just got created around here as well. So price is still continuing to shoot all the way up. That is a good sign. So what do we do next? Right now, the only thing we need to do is search for our confluences, our point of interest. Now, when it comes to these type of things, the first thing you need to do on a market structure is finding the fair value gaps and other blocks. In this case, we are looking for fair value gaps that are quite important, that price hasn't tested yet. Those are the fair value gaps that we are looking for, and at the same time, we are looking forward for other blocks that are quite good. An other block is good if it gives out an imbalance, which is a fair value gap. That means that is a good order block. But if there's no imbalance after an order block, it is not really a good order block, right? So this time around, the only thing we need to do is just search for those levels. After every BOS, there is an order block left behind. So we start from the bottom all the way up to this high right here. You can see that price is just shooting all the way up. So let's start from this zone right here. Now, first things first, this right here is our last order block, as you can see. Very nice. But I don't really mark the order block. I just mark the fair value gap, leaving the order block, because after the fair value gap, I know immediately there's going to be an order block, right? So this right here is the fair value gap or the imbalance. Now we have our level one. Price hasn't actually touched this zone. Why I'm saying this is level one is because this right here is the strongest zone on this whole trend. So that is the level one right there. Now we can see that after every BOS there is a order block. This is our order block, and this is the fair value gap that it actually created. So we go ahead and mark the fair value gap, leaving the order block, because we know if price push through the order block, is going to hit the fair value gap immediately. Now when you look closely at this zone as well, price never tested that fair value gap. Price did not test it. It went ahead and just pushed away from it, right? Very, very nice. Now let's go to the third level, which is this zone right here. We can see our order block right there and our fair value gap right here. So we mark the fair value gap, leaving the order block. But here there is a problem. There is a problem right here. What do you see happening? You can see that yes, price created the fair value gap and went up, but sellers came back in and tested it. So this is not a valid zone to be looking forward to buying. That right there does not become valid. It's now invalid, because when price comes back into it, it's already tested. Don't even worry yourself to execute your trade. Even if you are going to execute on this, for instance, if price comes back to this zone, I might just go ahead and execute my trade, because I know this is a very good zone for price to come back to. But if price comes back into this zone right here, because this is now a tested zone, and a tested zone could actually mean price is just going to push through it. So in this case, we remove this zone right there. We don't need it. We look at the last trend, which is from here all the way up. We can also see that the other block is quite good, because it gave us an imbalance right there. So price might come back to that zone and push all the way up. This will be a good fair value gap for price to come to, but it's always good to mark the second one as well, because price can actually use that one as a rejectional zone, right? Now every single thing is now set. You know what is happening. You know we already have our BOS, and the trend is pushing all the way up. So this is what we are having. If you remove this confluence or this trend line, you realize that everything is moving smoothly. You can see price shooting all the way up in just a very simple way, right? This is very, very simple for every single trader to actually do. What is hard is for them to execute trade after doing this, which brings us to psychology. That is the main problem of every single trader. Why? Because you know the price is pushing all the way up. You know around this zone you should be looking forward for buys. You know right here you should be looking forward for buys. Even these fair value gaps you should be looking for buys. And you definitely know if price takes out a high, you should still be looking forward for buys. But how do you buy? Well, it's very simple. Don't fight it, join it. You can only master your trading psychology if you are doing what is right. That is the problem. Now, this guide might actually help you, because we've already gone through how to analyze the trend, how to do every single thing. Now, this is the guide for you to execute your trades. One, you know price is pushing all the way up, avoid reversals. Avoiding reversals doesn't mean the price is selling. You shouldn't look forward for entry points, right? No, but you yourself don't go ahead plotting levels, thinking that when price gets to this zone, it should drop all the way down. So you are waiting for price to get to that specific zone for you to sell. It doesn't make any sense. Stop it. If the trend that you've already analyzed, just like we did already, if it's pushing all the way up, all you need to do is plot your buys. Don't be looking for levels to actually sell all the way back down. The second thing is go to the smaller time frame and do the same thing that you did on the bigger time frame. Because listen, the bigger time frame might be in an upward movement, but if the smaller time frame is still pushing back down, there's still going to be a problem because you might still execute a trade and you get lost. So even if the bigger time frame is still in an upward movement and the smaller time frame is still dropping down, all you need to do is just go to the smaller time frame, do your market structure over there, wait for the change of character to the upward side, and you now join in and follow the bigger time frame. That is how simple it is. Now the third thing just goes according to the second thing, which is the smaller time frame, right? You find confluences and a strategy on a smaller time frame. Now you can use a very serious strategy, you can use a constant strategy, meaning if this doesn't happen, you are not executing a trade. Or use a confluence. If price change character and you see buyers coming into the market, like volume increasing or price is giving a lot of fair value gaps, you know buyers are increasing in power, right? You execute your trade. These are the only things that are going to help you. Trust me, it will help your trading psychology a lot. Because with trading psychology, if you're not doing the right thing, trust me, you are always going to be in pain. You are always going to be having problems with your trades and you are always going to be in losses. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.